Most people think billionaires are smarter than everyone else. They're not. They just think differently. While average people focus on comfort, billionaires focus on expansion. While average people wait for motivation, they execute anyway. And Grant Cardone believes this is exactly why most people stay stuck financially and mentally for years. Because success is not just about money. It's about the habits controlling your mind every single day. Look around carefully. Most people wake up already defeated. No energy, no direction, no discipline. They spend years talking about goals, but never truly changing their habits. And eventually, they convince themselves that success is only for special people. But that's not true. The difference is usually mindset, not talent. Because your habits shape your thinking, and your thinking shapes your future. That's why studying people like Grant Cardone is powerful. Not because you need to become him, but because successful people leave patterns behind. Patterns in discipline, patterns in focus, patterns in standards. And once you understand those patterns, you start seeing why some people rise while others stay trapped in average thinking forever. Most people are mentally programmed for survival. Pay the bills, stay comfortable, avoid risk, repeat the same routine, and slowly, ambition disappears. Not dramatically, quietly. That's why so many people feel stuck without understanding why. Their habits are shrinking their potential daily. Scrolling instead of learning. Complaining instead of acting. Waiting instead of building. And modern life makes this worse. Everything is designed to distract you. Notifications, entertainment, instant dopamine. That's why focus became rare. And rare skills create rare lives. This is exactly why disciplined people protect their mindset aggressively. Because they understand something average people ignore. Your mind is your greatest asset. And if you lose control of it, you lose control of your future. Nobody explains billionaire mindsets honestly anymore. Social media turns success into aesthetics, luxury cars, private jets, expensive watches. But those are outcomes, not causes. The real difference is psychological. People like Grant Cardone think differently. Before, they live differently. That's important. Because most people try to change results without changing identity first, and that never lasts. Real transformation starts internally through standards, habits, discipline, repetition, not motivation. Because motivation disappears quickly, but disciplined habits continue producing results long after emotions fade. That's the real secret most people never fully understand. Part 1. Billionaire thinking starts with bigger standards. One of the biggest mindset habits connected to Grant Cardone is refusing to think small, because small thinking creates small behavior. Most people lower their standards constantly. They tolerate procrastination, tolerate distraction, tolerate average effort, and eventually, average becomes identity. But high performers operate differently. They raise standards aggressively. Not because they're arrogant, because they understand this. Your life changes when your standards change. That's why successful people ask bigger questions. How can I grow faster? How can I improve? How can I create more value? Meanwhile, average thinking asks, how can I stay comfortable? That difference changes everything. But here's the real difference. Billionaire habits are not built through motivation. They're built through consistency. And this next habit explains why disciplined people keep progressing while everyone else keeps restarting. Part 2. They execute even when they don't feel like it. Most people are controlled by emotions. If they feel motivated, they work. If they feel tired, they stop. That's dangerous because feelings change constantly. But disciplined people build systems instead of depending on mood. This is something Grant Cardone talks about constantly. Massive action, not occasional action. Massive action creates momentum, and momentum changes identity. Look at athletes like Kobe Bryant. He trained when tired, trained when uncomfortable, trained when nobody watched. That's what discipline actually looks like. Not perfection, consistency despite resistance. And over time, repeated discipline creates extraordinary confidence because every promise you keep to yourself strengthens self-respect. Part 3. They protect their focus like a weapon. Focus is now one of the rarest skills on earth. Most people cannot stay focused for 10 minutes without checking their phone. That's not weakness. That's conditioning. Modern life trains distraction constantly, and distracted people struggle to build meaningful lives because success requires depth. Depth of work, depth of thinking, depth of consistency. That's why people like Grant Cardone protect attention aggressively. They understand something powerful. Whatever controls your attention controls your future. This is why successful people often limit distractions heavily. Less noise, less gossip, less meaningless entertainment. Because focus creates output, and output changes lives. And this is exactly what most people never realize. The battle for success is often a battle for attention. But the next billionaire habit might be the hardest one of all, because it forces you to become uncomfortable daily. Part 4. They train themselves to handle discomfort. Comfort is addictive. That's why most people stay average. They avoid difficult conversations, avoid difficult goals, avoid difficult actions, and slowly, their world becomes smaller. But disciplined people understand something different. Growth requires discomfort. That's unavoidable. This is why entrepreneurs, athletes, and leaders often appear obsessed, because extraordinary results require extraordinary standards. Look at David Goggins. His mindset is built around embracing difficulty. Not because suffering is magical, because difficult actions expand mental strength. And billionaire thinking works similarly. The more discomfort you can handle, the more opportunities you can survive. That changes everything. Part 5. They think long-term. Average people think in days. Disciplined people think in years. That's a massive difference. Most people quit too early because results are slow, but successful people understand compound growth. Small habits repeated daily create enormous long-term outcomes. That's why consistency matters more than intensity. Reading daily, training daily, building daily. It seems small at first, but over time, those habits completely change identity and results. This is exactly why many people fail financially and mentally. They expect immediate transformation. And when progress feels invisible, they stop. But billionaire mindsets stay patient because they understand success is often delayed. But here's the painful truth. Most people already know what they should do. They just don't do it consistently enough. And this final habit explains why some people transform completely, while others remain stuck forever. Part 6. They take full responsibility. This mindset shift changes everything. Average thinking blames circumstances, the economy, other people, bad luck, timing. But disciplined people focus on control. What can I improve? What action can I take? How do I adapt? That mindset creates power because responsibility creates momentum. And this is something Grant Cardone constantly reinforces. Winners focus on solutions. Average thinkers focus on excuses. And over time, that psychological difference compounds massively. Because responsibility forces action. Excuses create stagnation. Now imagine this carefully. Imagine keeping your current habits for the next 5 years. Same distractions, same excuses, same low standards, same lack of focus. Where would your life end up? That's the terrifying part. Most people are not destroyed by one huge mistake. They are slowly destroyed by repeated average habits. And suddenly, you realize something powerful. Billionaire thinking was never just about money. It's about identity, about standards, about refusing to tolerate weakness inside yourself. And the moment your standards rise, your habits rise too. That's when transformation begins. Not when motivation appears, when responsibility appears, because your future changes the moment you stop negotiating with your excuses. So if you truly want to level up your life, think differently first. Raise your standards. Protect your focus. Stay disciplined when motivation disappears. Take massive action. Think long-term. Embrace discomfort. Take responsibility. Simple principles. Repeated daily. That's how ordinary people slowly become extraordinary. And remember this: success is rarely one giant moment. It's small disciplined habits, repeated long enough to completely change your identity. And the strangest part? Most people will hear this, agree with it, feel inspired for a few minutes, then go back to the same habits tomorrow. But the people who truly transform their lives, they understand one thing most people ignore. Your future is hidden inside the habits you repeat every single day, especially the habits nobody sees.